Let's make sure the guests are comfortable. Maybe Daddy will be proud of us today. Good afternoon, ma'am. You are welcome, ma'am.
What polite young ladies.
You have raised them well, Mr. Okafor. These ones, they are just learning how to be good wives in the future.
They seem very hardworking.
Of course, they cook, clean, wash clothes, and keep the house running. That's what daughters are supposed to do. Ah, my sons, greet our visitors.
Good afternoon, sir and ma'am.
These are your sons? Yes. These boys are my pride. Who become an engineer, and the other dreams of becoming a professional footballer.
Mr. Okafor was known throughout the village as a hard-working man. After his wife died when the children were young, he raised 4 children alone: Chinedu, Nnamdi, Amaka, and Ifeoma. But there was one problem. Mr. Okafor loved his sons openly and treated his daughters as though they mattered less. Every morning, Amaka and Ifeoma woke before sunrise. They swept the compound, fetched water, cooked meals, washed clothes, and prepared for school. Meanwhile, Chinedu and Nnamdi slept comfortably. Whenever visitors came, Mr. Okafor proudly introduced his sons. "These are the future of my family," he would say. The girls would stand quietly in the background. One afternoon, Ifeoma rushed home with excitement. "Daddy, Daddy, I have wonderful news!" Mr. Okafor looked up from his chair. "I came first in the state examination." She handed him the certificate with trembling hands. Mr. Okafor glanced at it for barely a second. "That's nice." Then he turned to Chinedu. "How was football practice today?" Ifeoma's smile disappeared. That night, she sat on her bed crying. Amaka found her wiping tears. "What's wrong?" Ifeoma held up the certificate. "I worked so hard." Amaka hugged her. "I know. Maybe Daddy would have cared if I were a boy." Amaka had no answer. Because deep down, she felt exactly the same way. Months passed. The girls stopped seeking their father's approval. Instead, they quietly saved money from small jobs after school. Amaka braided hair for neighbors. Ifeoma tutored younger students. Little by little, they saved every naira. Their dream was simple. One day, they wanted to attend university and build a better life. Then disaster struck. One evening, while eating dinner, Mr. Okafor suddenly dropped his spoon. His hand clutched his chest.
He needs emergency surgery. The children's faces turned pale. How much? Amaka asked. The amount was far beyond anything they could afford. For the first time in his life, Mr. Okafor looked helpless. The next morning, Chinedu and Nnamdi began searching for money. But after days passed, they returned empty-handed. "I tried," Chinedu said. "There is nothing we can do," Nnamdi added. The girls remained silent. That evening, Amaka opened a small metal box beneath her bed. Inside was every naira she had saved for university. Ifeoma brought her own savings. Together, they counted the money. It was not enough. Not even close. Amaka stared at the necklace around her neck. It was the last gift their mother had given her before she died. Her hands trembled. Slowly, she removed it. Ifeoma's eyes widened. "No." Amaka nodded. "We need the money." "That necklace is all you have left of Mom." Tears filled Amaka's eyes. "I know." The sisters cried together. The next morning, they sold the necklace. They sold their phones. They sold their clothes. They sold nearly everything they owned. Day after day, they struggled to gather enough money. Finally, they returned to the hospital. "We have it," Amaka said. The doctor looked shocked. "You raised all this?" The girls simply nodded. The surgery went ahead. For hours, they sat outside the operating room praying. Neither sister slept, neither sister ate. All they wanted was for their father to survive. Finally, the surgeon emerged. The operation was successful. Amaka burst into tears. Ifoma collapsed into her sister's arms.
Their father was alive. Weeks later, Mr. Okafor regained his strength. One afternoon, he overheard a conversation between the doctor and a nurse. "The daughters are remarkable." "Yes," the nurse replied. "They sacrificed everything they owned to save him." Mr. Okafor froze. "What do you mean?" The doctor turned toward him. "Your daughters paid for much of your treatment." Mr. Okafor stared in disbelief. "They sold their savings." The doctor continued. "They even sold precious belongings from their late mother." The room became silent. Mr. Okafor felt tears filling his eyes. The children he had ignored. The children he had overlooked. The children he thought mattered less. They were the ones who had saved his life. That evening, he asked Amaka and Ifeoma to sit beside him. For a long moment, he couldn't speak. Then tears rolled down his cheeks. "I have failed you." The girls looked at each other. "For years, I treated you as though you were less important." His voice broke. "But when death came for me, it was my daughters who stood beside me." Amaka began crying. Ifeoma wiped her eyes. Mr. Okafor reached for their hands. "Can you ever forgive me?" The sisters looked at the man before them. Not the proud father they feared, just a broken man full of regret. Together, they embraced him. And for the first time in many years, the family cried together. Not because of pain, but because love had finally found its way home. Moral: never underestimate your daughters. Love should never depend on gender. Sometimes the children we overlook become the very ones who save us.